Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. This is a recovery-based podcast. I'm joined by my good friends and fellow trudgers. Please remember to listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Episodes will be posted each week on YouTube and Facebook, but as always, please be sure to download on your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media outlets with the handle @TrudgeReportPod. We are brought to you by Stella Mix Podcast Management and our wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. And boys, might I say that those YouTube subscribers, that number is trickling up. It's trickling up. And we've had probably like in the last week, it's gone up like 10 subscribers. Just, well, maybe not that, but it's going up.
So we're at like 15?
No, we're at 109 actually last time.
Exponential growth, baby. Let's do
109.
it.
We were stuck on like 101 though for like I felt like 4 or 5 months, and then
We just need people to smash that like button. Give us a follow.
That's right.
Tell us if you hate us. That's fine. We're cool with that.
Like that guy. What was the guy that
all
yelled
they do?
What was the guy that yelled? Did he yell at you, Greg, or was it Corey?
Well,
Oh, it was Corey about
a couple.
the running guy. Remember?
Yeah.
He told me. He basically told me I don't know what the F I'm talking about when it comes to sobriety, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been begging for help.
We're all just trying to grow here.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
We're all just trying to grow here.
You just got,
gentlemen.
You got a bad comment recently, Shawn. I'll find it for you. I can't
Did
remember.
I? Sweet dude. Let me know. I'm excited for that. I want to hear it.
Yeah, we love the hate, dude. I would actually encourage anybody out there listening to us to just use us as a sounding board to let that hate out your heart. You know?
Yeah.
I was at a birthday party last night. An adult birthday party, but it was like bring the kids, one of those kind of things. It was a lot of fun. We played Family Feud, which was really fun, and then they had a roast. They roasted it was actually a birthday boy and girl. Like it was an aunt and a niece, friends of mine, and their birthdays were like 2 days apart. So they did a roast on them, and then they were able to roast some of us, and they were like, where's Shawn at? And I was like, I'm over here. Like, hey, I was like ready. I wanted to be roasted. And all they did was make fun of my tan line on my feet because I played too much golf. And I was like, like that's it. I want something.
That's all you got?
Give me something else. I was ready, but it was a lot of fun. Family Feud was fun, dude. So I was on the opposite team of my daughter, Sophia, and she did so good. She's watched the show with us many times. She did so good. She got some answers right. And then her and I played fast money together, and she actually beat me. She actually got more points than I did, so it was fun. It was a blast.
Nice,
good sober fun right there, Corey. Have you had any recently? Huh?
I played beer pong last night, so no.
Did you win,
dude?
I'm just kidding. No, and
Did you win?
I've never won beer pong.
I used to go on. I used to be in a beer pong league.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Me and my buddy Curtis King. We used to run the town of Lake Worth and Lantana going beer pong. Yeah, it was fun. We were alcoholics, if you couldn't tell. What was I going to say? I played beer pong once in sobriety, and it's like no fun at all. Like it's not
Just
not
good
fun.
old water pong.
Yeah, it's not. Well, no, the people I was with were drinking, and I had like a Sprite in my hand. It's just not fun. That's all. Just very boring.
Well, that's the whole challenge to the game is like you're getting progressively more drunk to see if you can still be on. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, it was not fun. I was like, guys, this is lame, but they still had a good time. So, guys, we got the trio tonight. Danny P, safe travels. He might pop on, but I highly doubt it. He's traveling. He's in a bad reception area. Sounded like he was on like a CIA mission or something like that.
He said he was going into the depths of the wilderness.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I love Dan to death. Good dude. Dan's not cut out for the wilderness. Dan's more of a city slicker, if you will. So
yeah.
Well, the thing is,
I don't know if he'd know what to do if he encountered a bear or maybe even a fox. I don't know, but
my money is on Dan to survive, and it's solely because he will build a house quick enough to not be in the wilderness anymore.
That could be true. He's like that guy on YouTube that makes like the ice igloo home. You know what I mean? Like I watch those videos at night, and I'm fascinated by him. Fascinated.
Yeah.
So how are we doing tonight, Greg? What's going on with you?
Living the dream, man. You know, couple things. I got a rant for you guys. I know you guys have been begging for one, so I got one coming up. But let me just tell you, this is the craziest thing. We experienced a legitimate squall up here yesterday, which was
now for the
wild.
listeners who may not be as intelligent as Corey and I, what is a squall, Greg?
So, well, I mean, basically, I live 4 miles off the coast of Lake Erie. So, squall is when like I don't even know if you can call it a gust of wind. It's because it's way more powerful than that, but it's not a tornado either. But it's like a squall just kind of forms very quickly and comes out of nowhere. I've never seen one in all of my years living up here, not like this, because it was, I mean, it's cold, it's wintertime up here. There's a little bit of snow on the ground, but it was sunny yesterday morning, like 11:55. Completely, it was sunny, it was chilly, whatever. And then all of a sudden, we're just chilling here at home, and the phone goes off. I thought we were getting an Amber Alert or something like that because all of our phones in the house went off, and
somebody got kidnapped or something.
Yeah, right. And it's from the National Weather Service. It's like imminent squall headed your way. And I was in the bathroom. I was dropping a deuce. I had to get up off the pot in mid deuce because she was like, "Babe, you got to come out here and see this. This is crazy." So mid deuce, I jump up, wash my hands, go outside. It's pitch black out, dude. It went from 11:55 a.m. sunny to crazy dark, winds blowing. It was like we were in the middle of a blizzard, but it was nuts. And that lasted, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, and then it was gone. But it was wild. I've never seen anything like it, especially like during the wintertime. Like we see it when I live down in Florida, and you guys see it all the time, where it was like torrential downpours out of nowhere, and then 10 minutes later it's sunny again. But this was pretty wild. In a winter storm.
It's funny you say that because I played golf today, and it was a kind of a windy South Florida day anyways, but that means like 10 to 15 mile an hour sustained winds just all day. Right. And literally we were on the 15th hole, and I just looked up the definition of a squall. Now this wasn't followed by rain, snow, or lightning, but it gusted, to your point, out of nowhere and got really cold. Temperature dropped like 15 degrees, and it was like 30 to 35 mile an hour wind gusts. I mean, shit was blowing everywhere, and it was just like kind of scary for a split second there. Like, whoa, what's going on? But it was out of nowhere, dude. It's out of nowhere.
It's been crazy lately,
the
with
apocalypse,
the weather.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Are you ready? When Jesus comes back, Corey? Are you ready?
When Jesus comes back?
Yeah.
From what I'm told, we'll get along. So,
well, that's good.
I think you get a $2,000 stimmy too, so it's all good.
Nice.
So every American, so God loves the Americans, but
loves the Americans more than others.
But yeah, I last night Lauren and I went to the movies, and we went and saw The Housemaid. It's a Sydney Sweeney film.
Yes, was it good?
No,
it was okay. It was all right. It
was okay for date night.
Yeah, it was all right for date night. Yeah, but dude, there's a lot of stuff I could open up and rant on about going to the freaking movies anymore. I could rant on like every time you seem to go in, there's somebody either like walking in 25 minutes late with a big broccoli haircut. Goofing around, laughing off. Meanwhile,
not broccoli cuts. We're talking florets now. Broccoli florets.
Dude, their parents probably paid for the movie, which means they had to take out a down payment on their fucking house to do so because it's so expensive to go to the movies now, right?
Oh, yeah.
And dude, just like the concessions, the all of it. There's a lot I could rant about going to the movies these days. It's the people, you guys, I don't know if it's down there, but you see people like bringing blankets and wearing slippers and taking their shoes off. Like, whatever. If you take your shoes off, whatever. I don't care. No big deal. The seats recline now, so that's awesome. But like, this is not your living room. You're in public. This is a movie theater. You know what I'm saying? Like, where is the decorum? But the big thing that is our movie started at 4:40, right? That was the show time. Now we're in there a little bit early, got to relax, got to go get your popcorn. We went there. There wasn't any lines to get concessions, so we got right through. So we're in the theater about 10 minutes early. movie's supposed to start at 4:40. It didn't start until like 5:15, bro. And when I say like, if you want to fill a good chunk of that time with trailers, I'm a movie nerd.
I do love
movie
the trailers. Yeah,
I love some trailers. This
Not that
wasn't
long.
even trailers, dude. It was all commercials. Wild. Like at 4:40, lights went down and commercials started. There was like repeats of 3 different commercials. It was just insane, dude. I felt like it's like I don't even get this many commercials at TV, like when I'm at home watching television. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it was absolutely nuts, man. But yeah, whoever it is out there, Motion Picture Association of America, Cinemark Theaters, go screw
You gotta
yourselves.
pay their bills, man.
Dude, come on, man. Like you're already charging an arm and a leg for the tickets. You charge an arm and a leg for the soda, for the popcorn, for the candy. I'm $60 in by the time I go to take my seat, and then you're gonna hit me with all these commercials, man. Just took me out of it completely. On the flip side of it, The Housemaid, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. We already all know what Sydney Sweeney and her bedevilments bring along with. I guess you would say bedevilments, endowments.
Yeah, I would say endowments. So you're saying
Here's the deal.
without
At
Sydney,
the end of the day, I personally, I'm watching her last night. I don't think she's that good of an actress. I don't think she's got a lot of range.
not only that, I don't think like if you told me to name my 5 like prettiest actresses, she's not one of them. She's not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. She's very attractive, but it's not like, you know, I'm a Catherine Zeta-Jones kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like Penelope Cruz. I like that kind of. I think
the
Nicole
Latin women
Kidman gets my fancy going.
Yep.
Natalie Portman.
You like a bunch of cougar. That's old Cougar McDonald over there.
I do, yeah. I do kind of like it.
But no, the other chick that was in it, Amanda Seyfried or Seyfried, I don't know how she was phenomenal.
She's a good actress. Dude, I don't think she's that attractive.
It was she was very, very good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. You know, it's funny, again, you brought that up because you're talking about like the movie, they're probably not making nearly as much money as they need to, and that's probably why a lot of the commercials, right? They're trying to pay their bills. Yeah. And it's funny because I watched an awesome movie on Netflix on Friday night. My wife was out of town in Miami for a couple of days on a little girls trip, so I had the kids, just me, Friday, Saturday, and I watched Friday night. I watched it's called The Rip, R.I.P.
Oh, was it good?
Dude, fucking awesome.
Awesome
Matt
movie.
Damon,
Ben Affleck, dude.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and then John Rayburn. You know who John Rayburn is? He was the head guy from Bloodline.
Yeah.
And if you watched Mayor of Kingstown, he's the brother in the first episode. I won't give it away, but whatever.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, dude. Awesome movie. Gritty.
Yeah.
Like just everything you want in a Damon Affleck flick with like just those guys are so good together. Just so good. Awesome movie.
It's from what I hear, it's not going to win any Oscars, but it was really good.
It's definitely a Netflix movie, but like, yeah, Janine, our producer Janine just said she watched it. It was awesome, wasn't it, Janine? Janine, pop in here. Come here. Janine, get up in here real quick. Get up in here.
Tell us how much you love Matt Damon.
I'm in.
Here. It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was, hold on, let me turn our TV down here. Yeah, it was freaking killer. At first I was like, where is this going? And then I was like, wow.
It was so good. And I kind of figured out about 3/4 in somewhat what was going on, but it didn't take away from how good it was at all. But up until that point, I like you, Janine, I didn't really know where it was going. It was great.
And I was so happy to see, you know, the Rayburn from Bloodline. I was like, yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah, he's good.
It was great. I would watch it again. It was so good.
But Greg, to your point, like, and going to the movies is an experience, right? It's not like, hey, it's Friday night, babe, let's watch a movie. It's like, hey, let's go out, let's go to the movies. I still really enjoy going to the movies, but to your point,
I love it.
It is kind of a scam. I remember we took the girls to the Lilo and Stitch, and it was like for all 4 of us, it was like $80 after everything, you know?
Yeah. I do. I have like one of the, I belong to like this movie club. It's like $6 a month or something like that. And what they do is they give you a free ticket every month and they roll over. So we haven't been to the movies in like months. So I have like 5 or 6 of them built up. So whatever. And you know what? Look, I'm not going to the movies, every single movie expecting to see like Oppenheimer or something like that. You know, like I know you're going to have your like not so great ones there. But yeah, you're right. Like the revenue, I don't think is there.
It's not
Not
because
like
of streaming.
it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, because of streaming. Everybody can get it. Hell, you can watch it on a lot of stuff on just YouTube nowadays because somebody pirates it. So
Yeah.
have you guys heard of these VC or CV boxes? Those little boxes you buy that gives you literally every channel, every movie, every show, every sporting event. You guys heard of these things?
Yes, indeed.
What do you guys think?
I would, you know what? It might be quote unquote wrong. Whatever.
I don't know if
I'm
it
all
is.
for it.
I don't know if it is. You can buy it on Amazon.
Whatever. Yeah, and then I think you gotta break them.
I don't know.
Once you get 'em.
I don't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that is.
But here's the thing, and we could go into a whole freaking episode and a rant on this and whatever, but the streaming has gotten out of control. It's absolutely nuts. Everything is a subscription service nowadays. If you want to, Corey, when was it? I had to like kind of do a little forwards backwards with Disney Plus and ESPN because I wanted to watch a wrestling event with Peyton. But even though we have ESPN on television, you had to have ESPN Plus to view this special wrestling event, which was trash anyways. It wasn't even that good of a show. Like, and they want an extra $23.99 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Corey, you're on mute. Corey's just talking. We can't hear.
Who?
I was wondering why you were so quiet.
There you go. No.
There he goes. This might just be me and you, Greg. For anybody that's not watching this or who will never watch this, Corey's audio and video is out of control.
We got him.
Are you with us? Back.
What the hell is going on?
There he is. God, it's good to hear your voice.
Hey, pre-show, you were talking about how connected to God you were, bro. You might want to. He might be putting you in your place right now.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I was just gonna say that.
How are you, Corey?
ESPN Plus is one subscription, but they made a whole new ESPN app.
ESPN Unlimited, right?
Yes, that's what it was.
Dude, it's tiring now. It's just
so here's the hack I did. So you guys remember like a couple months ago when YouTube TV and Disney Plus and Disney and all that were having their feud, and we didn't have any YouTube TV subscribers, didn't have any ESPN, ABC, any of those affiliates, SEC Network, ACC Network. So what I would do was Fubo TV. Shout out to Fubo. They were offering 5-day free trials, and all you have to do is have a different email address. So I had three or four of those bad boys, 5-day free trials. I just used I used my work email, my personal email, my podcast email, all that stuff, and finally YouTube got it back. But
Shawn, at that point, we just need to jailbreak the frickin' box and just get everything for free, I think.
Yeah, maybe. The thing about the VC box, though, is that my aunt has one, and a buddy of ours that we all know, a previous guest on this podcast, has one. Sometimes it buffers, and it is on a delay and stuff. So,
a good friend of the show has one and has tried to convince Corey and I on multiple occasions to get it. And it sounds amazing. Everything he shows me and the interface looks amazing. The only thing is, in the most Brooklyn way ever, you have to call a guy once you obtain the box. You got to call a guy and you got to say, "Hey, so and so sent me," and I go, "Okay, blank. What's the guy's name?" He goes, "I have no idea. I just call the number and he hooks me up, and it's X amount of dollars a month." And it's like,
I'm sure whatever his name is, he'll definitely be 5 minutes away. So.
What's going on in your neck of the woods, Corey?
Oh, yeah.
In the wilderness of PSL.
Can I talk now? All right.
Absolutely. We've been waiting for you.
All right. Well, a couple things, and then I have a question for you guys. Kind of. And I haven't prepared it well, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Anyway, for starters, I wanted to tell you guys that I quit my job on Friday. As I've been alluding to.
The new one?
No. Oh. The old one. No, okay. I quit the old job. And you know what's funny, dude? So this was a fully remote job, okay? Fully remote. I've literally only been to the branch office once. It's down in Plantation. I have literally only met any other colleague from this job once, and that was the one time I went to branch office. I for some reason still like, I guess thought that like they were gonna be really upset or something. You know what I mean? Like oh, I'm letting them down. They're gonna be, and I was like so nervous and like full of anxiety on Friday, and like it took me forever to hit send on the email. Just like whatever, and then sure enough, I got an email back. Not even right away, but a couple hours later got an email back, and it was a very nice email, and they thanked me for my contributions and dedication to the team and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's so, I'm so happy now. And then like I took a second to think about it, and I was like, that's a fucking template.
Yeah.
That's in like an AI template. They don't care.
They were.
Huh?
I thought they were going to respond with like, "Oh, we didn't even know you still worked here, Mr. Mitchner. We thought
No,
we fired you. Like, what's his name from Office Space?
Yeah.
a while
Actually,
ago."
you owe us $10,000.
Yeah.
They didn't ask me why or anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
nonetheless.
congratulations on the new job.
Yeah.
Sincerely.
Yeah. Appreciate
is the
it.
new job remote as well?
It's hybrid.
Nice.
I'm taking on somewhat of a management position, so I gotta be around it sometimes. But it's similar
Good
to
for
what
you.
I've done in the past. So
Good for you.
yeah.
What else is going on?
Okay, so this is what I want to talk about real quick. I don't think
Okay.
we've ever discussed this. So for some reason,
I'm excited.
I've been throwing. It's not that great, Shawn.
Oh.
For some reason, I've been throwing a couple bucks here and there at the lottery. Okay, at the Powerball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just want to stress a couple bucks because it's a colossal waste of money. But $2 to dream is fun to me. So I was thinking about it today. I got my ticket for tomorrow night, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna ask the guys on the podcast because again, it's fun to dream sometimes. What's like the first, I don't know, 1 to 2 to 3 things you guys are doing if you hit, say, let's just call it a billion because it just was at a billion a few weeks ago. Let's say $1 billion Powerball. Say you walk away with whatever 500 million.
I think he only walked away with 460 million.
Oh, that's a shame.
God, dude.
Because yeah, dude, they hit you with all kinds of stuff. First, they hit you with the tax on it, and then they hit you with the. Well, no, I'm sorry. They say, what do you want for the cash prize? Do you want the lump sum or do you want the annuity? Everybody's going to take the lump sum, of course. So then it goes down even further, and then they tax it on top of that. So 460 million.
First thing I'm gonna do is set up my kids, not for life, but like pretty good to where they could college, house, business, whatever they want to do comfortably. Help my parents out. And then same thing for us, put a bunch of money away to the where I can just like, if I want to keep working, and which would lead me into my next thing about what I would now do for a living. I could do something fun or start my own business, but I'd put enough away in our accounts and our retirement that whenever I wanted to, a year from that point, if I wanted to be like, yeah, I'm done, I'm going to retire, I could comfortably help my parents out. Probably buy a bigger house, but I would take care of all that stuff first. I'd set the kids up, my parents set us up, all that stuff, put some money in the market, like invest, you know what I mean? Make my money work for me kind of thing. And then I'd definitely have some fun. Might buy a golf course or something. I don't know.
I was gonna ask you, all right, now that you've gotten all the responsibilities out of the way.
I would definitely do some fun stuff for sure. Vacations, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I'd probably buy a golf course, I think.
That'd be a good thing to do.
Or like build my own.
Before we go to you, Greg, I will say that you mentioned like figuring out about working or whatnot. And what Gabby the other day we're talking about it. Same thing, same conversation, just kind of dreaming a little bit. And she's like, "You mean you wouldn't keep your job?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? No, I wouldn't go in the next day. I'm sorry. Like, I would, sorry guys, like I'm going to go work for myself. I'm not saying I'm not going to have a job or something, but like I'm starting businesses. Like I'm not going to answer to people.
I would definitely start some kind of business for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Or I would create like what I went to graduate school for. Like I would figure out a way to specifically create something right up that alley. You know what I mean? Like exactly what I want to do.
What about you, Greg?
The first thing I'm doing is calling a lawyer. Okay. And then
That might
also
be a
a
good point.
financial advisor. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are
me,
the first
by the way.
absolute first two things that I'm doing. When it
Always.
comes time to, you know what, Lauren and I have talked about it, is like, yeah, maybe, you know, we build a ranch out west somewhere, like to have a little place to go, maybe have a little place in Florida to have a little place to go. But probably just honestly, it's cheap to live up here. There's a lot of land, and I love Ohio. It's home, you know, for me. So I would probably build something very nice. I build it from the ground up.
Yeah,
Like this is,
I like that
this is what
idea.
I want. And it would give me, you know, where you could actually say like, this is my dream home. Cause I literally thought it up out of my own head.
I wouldn't leave Florida.
Her and I would
I'd stay here.
probably get married in Italy, and we'd probably just pay for everybody to come. Like, just hey, you guys just get your passports and figure it out, and we'll fly you over.
I'm still not
and
coming.
We're getting married in Italy.
Who said you were invited, Corey?
I'm just saying.
But no, I think that we want to take care of family first for sure,
Yeah.
and make sure they're all taken care of. You guys would all get some kind of nice gift. I'm sure of it.
Don't send me a fucking watch, dude. No watches for me.
No watches for you. No, you get like a set of golf clubs, like a nice set of golf clubs, though. Nice set of golf clubs.
I just want
Multi-purpose.
regular sized hands if you could manage that.
You'll get cybernetic hands, like Terminator style, dude. That'll be sick. But they won't match up with your body though. But
Whatever.
then dude, I would absolutely quit working the job I'm at now, and they would understand. We actually talk about it, where I've talked about it with my boss before. He goes, if I win the lottery, I'm not coming back in here. Are you kidding me? So if he says that he's the vice president, like, yeah, I'm out too. You know,
I'd give my 2 weeks though. I'd still do the right thing.
no,
I'd
give my 2 weeks, but I just wouldn't show up for him.
I'd rather give them money, Shawn. I'll pay you to not be there for ever again.
I'll pay you to train the next guy, so I don't have to give 2 weeks.
There you go. Yep. There you go. But I would not quit working entirely. I don't think that as men, that's good for us to just have an abundance of time to not do anything. Sure, like maybe take a month off, you know, enjoy yourself a little bit, you know, like live a little, you know, but I would want to start a couple businesses. One thing, you know, and I know that we've all talked about it before, man, but there was a really great treatment center down in Florida for a long time before I got there, and was there for a few years after I got there. You guys know which one I'm talking about, and it was a very good. It was a good place, and I think the world needs more places like that. And I would probably try and open something like that up, something that where, you know, hey, we want to help you, and we want to help you now. We don't. It's not about your insurance. It's not about this. It's not about whether we can get you scholarship or whether we can, or whether we've run out of those for the. If we need to help you, we're going to help you, and that's what this is about. And then I would want to start something, yes, a for-profit company as well, but I would like to have something, like, I always thought it was very noble. Like, did you guys know that Paul Newman, he, after he retired from acting, and he had the Newman's Own salad dressing and stuff like that, you know, like, he didn't take a dime of profit from Newman's Own. He just donated that all to charity. So I think like something like that would be just amazing to do, where it was like, you know, whether it's like underprivileged kids, orphaned children, like something like that, where it like, and where I know that it goes directly to helping those people, not just, I'm just going to throw blanket money at a charity and hope that somebody doesn't pocket it. You know, like I would want a hand in knowing exactly where that money went. So yeah, in short, put some good back into the world.
There you go. It's a fun question to talk about.
I would so a lot of the same things for sure. Like, nobody in my immediate family would have an ounce of debt. Like, let's pay off the mortgages. You know what I mean? that kind of thing. I would, if my dad or mom wanted to live somewhere down here, I'll handle all that. Sure. Definitely starting businesses. I don't know exactly what avenue, but like I'm gonna make this money make money, because if it doesn't, it's gonna leave forever.
Well, how many people do you hear about that win the lottery and go broke?
And then they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Because like how do you live with that? Like you just blew, yeah, so don't want that to happen by any means. So starting businesses, whatever. I asked Gabby, and I'll keep the conversation mostly between me and Gabby, but I asked her, I said, family's kind of a given. What friends do you bring into that fold?
That's an intriguing question.
Yeah.
That's an intriguing question.
like you can't, like, we know so many people, and like it'd be easy to say like, oh, I'll just help everybody. Well, that might not even be good for people. You know what I mean? Depending on the circumstance. But anyway, so that was.
I don't even know if I'd tell anybody.
Well, that's the other thing. You don't want everybody to freaking know. Like, how do you? But also, like, I couldn't imagine not telling like you guys. I couldn't imagine that. Like, how do I have that big of a life change and not tell a couple?
I think there's probably a correlation between what friends you tell, because you're probably going to help them out in some way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're not going to just go brag about it to a bunch of people, but you tell the friends that you likely, hey, I won the lottery, 10 grand coming your way, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's, I think, are you helping somebody out, or are you taking them with you, or whatever? But I think a good rule of thumb, something that, I heard a while back, and I try to apply in my life, is I don't eat with people I wouldn't starve with. Right. So same thing goes in this kind of.
Sounds like a Temple of a Dog lyric.
See, and my thing, aside from like, let's say, aside from maybe some other gift or whatever, as far as like maybe you guys are concerned, like one thing that I would be thinking of for my close immediate friends is like, hey, how about one of these businesses? Like we collaborate on this, and like we all get to, like, that will fuel our lives financially if we.
If you can count on those people to be responsible.
Yeah, that's
and even if you're doing it with friends, you need contracts and you need legal, like you need stuff in place. I don't 100%. Care how close they are, Yeah.
I'll secure a meeting with Amazon about like a contract for the Trudge Report or something, Or
seriously,
$80 million like Heights did.
There we go.
Anyway.
Fun question.
Let me just say the one outlandish thing I'm doing. I'm starting a fucking band with like the best musicians that I can buy, and recording a whole ass album with the best engineers I can find, within reason, because I could go through millions of dollars quickly. And I don't give a shit if anybody listens to it. That's what I'm doing.
I love it.
I want a real functional Batmobile.
You had it. It's called the Sunfire.
No. I want a real one. Like straight off the movie screen, dude. I want people to just turn their heads when they see me driving that fucking tank down the road.
That's good stuff. Perfect. That's a fun question, Corey.
Yeah, I thought about it today.
All right, guys, let's switch over into our real primary purpose here. So we have, if you've been listening, we have been talking about inventory and resentments and fears and harms done, and all that kind of stuff. The stuff that we are uncovering in our sobriety of how we used to act and the faults we did, and everyone we've harmed and all that stuff. So today we're taking to the next step of that, and I want to talk about briefly the actual writing process, because I don't know, I'm sure we've said it along the way, but this inventory process, when we are identifying these resentments and these fears and these harms done, it is an actual pen to paper activity. It's an actual pen to paper practice for us in the line of recovery work that we are all in. So let's talk about the importance of the writing process. And then after we write, what we do with that is we tell somebody else about it. We have usually our mentor or a trusted friend or spiritual advisor or something like that. So Greg, let's talk briefly about, let's start with the importance of the writing process. What did it mean to you? What was the experience of writing it like, and why is it so important that we do so?
Well, yeah, I mean, writing it down is the importance of just the actual process of writing is kind of speaks for itself. I have to get my thoughts and my resentments and everything that's going on down on paper, right? It allows me to look at it. It gets it in somewhat clear and concise order so that I can talk about it. And our literature talks about for this actual sharing with someone else. It says what immediately precedes this instruction in our literature is next we launched out on a course of vigorous action. So the writing was part of that, even though it didn't tell us that right off the rip that was going to be vigorous action. But really, the writing is the last little piece, because up until this point, all I've really done is I've looked within, I've read a little bit with another human being that's an alcoholic or an addict, and let me know the facts about myself, and then I've given up and I've conceded that I've needed God, but up until this point, I haven't really done any actual action. The first step where the rubber meets the road is for me to actually, like I said, get this all out on paper, but share this with another person. So the actual writing process of it for me was pretty. Once I had the instructions and everything down pat, I went and when I did my first inventory, I went down to the park that was down the street from the halfway house, and I knocked it all out in a few hours. It was probably 2-3 hours, and I got everything that was really, really weighing heavy on me out, right? Because a wise man once told me, he goes, hey, I want this stuff that you're going to immediately drink and get high over. I don't need to know that little Jimmy kicked you in the shin in fourth grade and you're still pissed off at that, because that would be delusional. But it's funny because as I'm writing some of this stuff down that really is sitting heavy on my heart and everything like that, I'm looking at it on the paper and I'm seeing already how delusional it is. Like I don't even need to. I don't get me wrong. I still did bring it to my mentor, bring it to another person, and get honest and open with them about it. But I'm already seeing as I'm putting it down on paper, like how screwy my brain is, right? So, and it's a freeing process too. It's the same way that people have been journaling for years and years and years. So it's like it's a freeing process to get it all out on paper just as it is. But one thing that again our literature asks us to look for is where are we selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, fearful, where have we harmed other people? And as I'm going through and looking at these resentments I have, the harms I've caused, the people that I've put all this stuff through, the fears that I have, I realize like everything is affected by those things. Every single thing, my driving force is that those fears, that crazy ego, that selfishness and dishonesty, So to me, that's the most important part is it's literally the page is what you're putting down on it, but it in essence, it is a mirror. You're looking right in at yourself. It's right out there on paper.
Yeah.
And the importance of talking to somebody else is paramount because again, sure, I can get honest with myself. Sure, I can internalize my feelings and know how they are. But to me, it's you have to get real and honest with one other person about this stuff if you're going to be free. Real and honest with a whole lot of people would be a little bit better, but one trusted person to really go through the deep dark stuff with is of the utmost importance, man, because if anything it's kind of like you're bleeding out the black out of your soul at that point.
Yeah. Corey, what about you? The importance of the writing process and the importance of talking to at least one other person about it.
I mean, I agree with everything Greg said, and I think the importance of writing it all down for one is the willingness to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the work. Like there's not a whole there's a few areas of the process that we go through to recover that is actual like action, like actual work, and that's one of the pieces. Even though writing it down is probably still not even as scary as, or can be, as scary as talking about it with another person. That's kind of where like my like roadblock was at one point. But yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I kind of think about it like getting it down and getting it organized. You know what I mean? Like actually, like something about seeing it in black and white makes it make sense a little bit. You can take it at one piece at a time. It's kind of like a budget. Like I could sit here and tell you like roundabout figures about what my budget is and this and that, and this is what I could cut out maybe. But like I don't have an actual like clear idea of what those numbers look like unless I'm looking at it on a screen or on a paper. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that kind of matters. I think it matters to see the truth. I think that's why we write it down, and yeah, the importance about talking about it with somebody. Again, I think it comes down to willingness. Again, that was like a revelation in my sobriety. Probably was like getting the willingness to let it all out to somebody. There was a couple things for me. I guess not everybody has like the it was like I call them bombshells with Shawn because I've had to call him and tell him about.
Had a few of those over the years.
Yeah, but maybe not everybody has those bombshell like things that they don't want to tell anybody, but I did, and up until I met with my mentor to like talk about it, I still wasn't convinced that I was going to tell him the whole truth and nothing but the truth,
No.
But God just granted me some willingness in that moment, and it helped too because he had enough experience in this whole thing to be like, hey, like, is there anything you're not going to tell me? I mean, God, I don't even hear people say that a lot. Like,
kind of catches you off guard a little bit.
Yes, it did. I didn't expect him to say that, and when he said that, like, I guess I was willing enough to not lie to him in that moment, and I was like, oh yeah, well there are some things, and he was like, all right, well cool, I'll just tell you what I didn't want to tell anybody, and he did, and it opened me up. So
my I think the number one most important thing, I love what you said first off, Corey, about it's the first kind of like action part of this recovery process. A lot of what we've done up to this point is conclusions of the mind, discussions with somebody else, internalizing, believing, buying into the process, believing I am one of you, meaning alcoholic or addict, and it's deadly. This is the first time where it's like, okay, now go home and write. My mentor says, go home and write. Here's the format. Here are very specific, detailed instructions. I'll walk you through the process. And like, you have a week to do it, or 2 weeks to do it, or whatever. We're going to do it in one day, or like Greg said, 2-3 hours. You hear different various formats of that. But I think secondary to that, and almost equally as important, I am now by writing it, I'm taking it out of my head, which is fantasy land and delusion land, and I'm putting it on paper. It's right before me in black and white. And things start to take on a different meaning and start to make a different kind of sense. I start to see, to Greg's point, how foolish some of these things are that I've been holding on to all my life or however many years. And the second part of that is talking to somebody else about it, because now not only is it out of my head, it's out of fantasy land, it's on paper, it's before me, I'm presenting it to somebody else, and that person that I'm telling it to, my mentor or spiritual advisor, whatever, as Corey said, has typically almost always has more experience than I do at this stage of the recovery process, and can help me see things from a different point of view. Things that, like you said, is there anything you're not going to tell me? Or, in what we do, it's the whole idea of like, oh, I'm pissed off at you. Okay, well, I'm going to pray for you. And I'm going to pray that you get everything good in your life that I would want for my life. Like, that is a completely, totally 180 viewpoint that I never had before I got sober. And it totally blew my mind when I came across that prayer. It is one of our prayers in our literature, but just that conversation with my mentor. And like you said, it is, I mean, a problem talked about is a problem, cut in half typically for the most part. It's not always apples to apples. Uh, there's a lot of times there's more work to be done, but um, it is unbelievable just how cathartic that writing process is, right? Just getting it down, having that time, because there's little tricks. Like I was taught, hey, if you're not going to do it in like 2-3 hours, spend 20 minutes a day on it. Just devote 20 minutes a day. Say a prayer before you start, that God comes into this process and just opens your heart and mind and kind of flows through you. So it's important. And like you said, I mean, how many people have we seen that are like, yeah, recovery, recovery, recovery. It's like, all right, now go home and write your inventory. And like, we never see him again. Or a month and a half goes by and they're like, well, I haven't really had time. And, so it does begin to separate the serious from the not serious in recovery.
Well, it's unfortunate, I think, is a lot of times it falls in the timeline of this is really during the time that a lot of people have started to feel a whole lot better, and
Right.
they got a little bit of money in their pocket, and women are starting to talk
couple
to
months
them
sober.
again.
Why do I have to do this? I feel better. Yeah. So that actually brings me to my next point. What are some of the reasons or some of the experiences we've had with people who hold off on going forward with this part of the process? Like, what are some things that stop them from it? Some of the things that might have stopped us, that gave us pause? 'Cause I had some fear and apprehension to somebody. I forget which one of you said it, but like, I wasn't sure I was telling my mentor all my deep, dark secrets when I first met him, Greg, what do you think? What are some reasons people have pause when they get to this step?
Yeah, well, it's tough. It is one of the hardest things I've had to do, where it's, yes, I want to recover from alcoholism. Yes, I want to recover from addiction, and I want to turn over a new leaf in my life. I want to believe in this God thing that you guys are all talking about, but do I really want
Right.
to like go forward with just all of my deepest, darkest BS, right?
I can say I do, but do I really want to?
But do I really want to do that? And am I really willing to do that? Like Corey said, like this was it. This was the willingness for me. And at some point I just had to really honestly ask myself, like, am I ready to be free of this? And that was the thing that you guys all talked about. My mentor talked about, like everybody do you want to be free? And that was really what pushed me to do this, is like, you keep hearing people talk about this freedom, and you're not really sure, your head, depending on where you're at in your sobriety, like your head could still be spinning 6 ways from Sunday at this point. But you just got to look around and see that the people, not the people that sometimes, that show up in the Mercedes and the nice watch and the fancy shoes at the meeting, but the people that are actually really living right, the people that you can tell they've got meaningful relationships in their lives, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're telling me, dude, you're as free as you want to be in this deal.
Yep.
And that was it for me. But yeah, you do see a lot of people fall off in this, man. You see a lot of people get scared. And look, in a couple people's behalf, and I appreciate their honesty, and I'm glad they came in. But there have been people that have come in that I've worked with, that I've mentored, that when it got to this point, they say, "Hey, I really, really mean this. I don't think I'm one of you guys."
Yeah.
I don't think, like everything we've talked about, I think that I really, honestly and truly, I had a really bad dope problem. I had a really bad coke problem. I did a lot of bad stuff to people around me. I came down here to Florida, and now I really, I don't obsess about this. I don't obsess about that, like the way that you guys are talking about. And it's like, hey, and what does our literature say? It says hats off to them. Like okay, dude. And that's really my job as a mentor, right? It's not my job to recover these people. That's not my job. My job is to give them the facts about us, give them the facts about myself, qualify them to see if they really belong here, and take them through the work, right? So Yeah, I've had a couple people just straight up tell me. Now, whether or not they are, that's on them, you know, and
some of those people we see back again in 6 months or a year, you know,
right.
if they're lucky enough.
They got to put their hand in the fire a little
Right.
bit.
Some we don't, some we don't.
And some we don't. Yeah. And so that is the thing is, you know, in this almost decade, I have met and been a part of and watched people die at a extremely higher rate than I ever had in my 30 years preceding it, you know. And that's just the reality of it, and it's the reality too of for people like us where it's life or death, not taking this stuff seriously, it can end up that way too. I know that those are two polar opposites that I just gave you, but you're going to be somewhere on that spectrum for sure.
Sure. Corey, what do you think? What are some reasons that you feel people, or let's say you attempted sobriety a few times, some reasons you held off on this step?
You know what, dude? I honestly think it probably, I'll say almost always comes down to I don't know how to phrase this. It comes down to an issue with the very beginning of this. It comes down to not believing that I'm truly
Powerless
over this.
Great point.
Dude, I honestly I almost I want to say always. I really do want to say always, even though I know I shouldn't.
No, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah, dude, and like that goes for the rest of the process too, you know. And but that being said, though, like I've waxed and waned on, you know, stuff that we're supposed to do too. And I always go back to a phrase in our literature somewhere, and it says an illness of this sort, and we've come to believe it is an illness. And I often think,
do I have a question mark there?
Yeah, exactly. Like I ask myself, even today, like if I'm not hitting my knees in the morning and praying right away and not separating time for meditation, like stuff like that, I've asked myself, like, hey, like, is this still an illness for you? You know what I mean? Like, well, like when did this not become an illness? So what? Good.
What did Brian used to say? How alcoholic are you today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some days I'm completely, utterly hopeless, and I need every part of this program and every part of God, and I'll do every part of this. Other days I'm not so bad. You know,
Well,
you poor people need it, but not me.
What's messed up, dude, and you're well aware, is like I suffer from like the whatever ism it is that, you know, you stay sober for a long period of time and you start knowing shit, right?
Yeah.
And like you start getting complacent and comfortable in it, and you know, and that's when that happens. That's when it's like, and it's a dangerous place to be if it goes on too long, I think.
Sure.
And, I've been blessed enough, you know, of God's grace to be here and most of the time correct it, and I with help from you guys and the people around me. But yeah, so it pertains to the newcomer that's not going through with any part of this process. Like, then you're probably not convinced that you're dying. You're probably not convinced that you actually need divine help in order to stay sober. That's the thing, is like, and we talked about it already going through this process. Like, I have to be 100% convinced that I don't have a choice in drinking or not drinking anymore, and using or not using anymore. I'm going to, that was told to me, and I believed it 100% when I got willing to do this. I'm going to use again. There's not even a question about it. And I had done the dance.
It's a matter of when, not if.
I had done the dance enough to know it from my own history. So like, to me, it was almost like, well, you don't really got a choice, buddy. You better try this, you know? But like I said, I went to the table with my mentor with some apprehension, and wasn't totally sure that I was going to be completely honest, but ultimately I was ready. So,
right. I think you hit it on the head, man. If I don't think that that to drink is to die, that to use, to get high is to die, if I don't feel like I'm completely, totally powerless and my life is absolutely effed, then why on earth would I need to believe that, you know, God or some power can restore me to sanity? And if I don't believe that, then why would I ever need to turn anything over and give the control of my life over to this God that I may or may not understand. Um, um, sorry, I was catching a glimpse of what just happened.
Yeah.
Half of my prediction is still alive.
The other half isn't.
Yeah, but that's it. Like and if I don't believe any of those three things, then I'm definitely not doing your stupid inventory process, right? I'm definitely not writing it down. So I think you're absolutely right. I think it's fair to say that it's a back to square one kind of problem, right? And we unfortunately see that way too many. Like Greg said, like it's one thing to come months later, halfway through this process, and be like, you know what? After some examination and some evidence surfacing, I just don't think I am one of you guys. I may not be alcoholic. They may be delusional and lying to themselves, but that's fair game. Like, okay, you've given this a fair shake. But we see way too many people that come in right off rip and are just, you can just tell their life isn't on the line, or they don't believe their life is on the line. The unfortunate thing is that those people sometimes, overdose and die a month later, and that's kind of that's a deeper conversation, but I think you hit it on the head, Corey. I think that was a great pull there. So
thanks, Shawn. I'm pretty smart, but I have a question.
Yeah,
I have a question for you, Shawn, and Greg, but specifically, we come into the rooms of recovery, and the idea is that we're gonna find a mentor that can help us. They say like find one that has what you want, but that's debatable. But ultimately, we're trying to ask somebody experienced with this whole thing that's had a spiritual awakening to help us through with this. But only a few short weeks into that process are we discussing these heavy topics with this person, right? Just like we're describing tonight. And right. I've had arguments with, well, at least one. I've had an argument with him before because he didn't feel like it was a great idea to just pick some stranger up in one of these recovery meetings and to discuss all this deep, dark stuff with this person because, quote unquote, I don't know him from Adam. My response at the time, which might be a little self-righteous and spiritual hilltoppy, was, well, are you fucking dying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. I guess that is still my answer. Like, oh, well, you better take the chance. But I get the apprehension too. Like, you don't know what somebody's going to do with that information.
You're absolutely right. I think both things can be true. I think if you're really super concerned about that, you may be have your priorities mixed up. But I also don't think that like you need to come in on day 1, 2, 3, or 7 and pick that mentor right away because, oh my God, I have to get a mentor. And people are telling me, I believe it should be a pretty organic process, right? I have been the guy that has told other people I'll be your mentor, right? But I like that conversation from the mentor standpoint to be like, hey, here, my name's so-and-so, how you doing? Get into conversation with them, get to a few meetings, be like, listen, I'm more than willing to be your mentor. I've been through this process. I've recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. I'd be more than happy to take you through the process, and if they say yes or show some interest, one of those first conversations I have is about that mentor mentee confidentiality, right? Like anything you say to me is completely confidential. I will never divulge your personal information without your permission, Mm-hmm. Greg, you get the last word on this.
Yeah, well, I think that of course, are you going to have full and complete trust in somebody that you just met 3 weeks ago and you're already in a questionable state of mind and maybe a little bit of semi delusion because you're coming off of heavy hardcore substances?
Yeah.
The short answer is no, you're not. But I think that number one, when not high as a kite, I have historically been a pretty decent judge of character. And I think that is how you've got to look at people. You've got to watch their actions, man, and not just their words. Because a lot of people can talk a good game, but you have to watch their actions, And when I was approached by the person I chose to be my mentor, like they genuinely approached me. I wasn't even trying to talk to anybody, and they approached me. And then, I sat back and I watched the guy for a week or at least before I even asked the question. But I think that was the big thing. was that first initial meeting. We didn't crack a book open at all. You know, that first initial meeting was like, all right, cool. If you want me to be your mentor, meet me outside this building at 6 a.m. on whatever day it was. And all we did was walked over, sat on a park bench by a pond. And we talked for an hour, and it was very much like he didn't hit me with everything. He didn't hit me with all the stuff out of, are you an alcoholic, not alcoholic? He just spoke his experience, right? His experience of what it was like when he was out there getting high, and what it's like now, and the little bit of what he did in between. And it was like, okay, this is clicking and registering in my brain. And you know, there was trust for him. But yeah, that was you know, another thing where it was expressed to me that I had wholeheartedly, like, the same type of confidentiality I would have with a lawyer or a doctor or anything like that. You know, that you know, there was not that worry that I needed to worry about, and that kind of put me at ease. And then, of course, you know, you have, I want to say, from the beginning of that to the point that we're talking about here in this episode, I want to say there was maybe 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks of meeting with that guy at minimum once a week, and reading and talking and stuff like that. And it's like that trust grows.
Right. It grows pretty quick too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff, guys. A good show tonight. Always a pleasure hanging out with you boys. I miss Danny P. Some wild football. Were you guys watching the game too? I was watching.
Dude.
I was watching the whole time.
I just had it up on my little ESPN app, but
that's multitasking.
Rams, baby. Rams.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
we'll see.
What is it? Rams and Seahawks now?
Rams and the Hawks.
Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, Patriots. Yeah. So
it'll be Patriots, Rams.
Yeah, we'll see.
For the SB, baby.
Yeah. Well, boys, always a pleasure. Love you both very, very much. We've had a lot of history together, the three of us, and many others out there, but it's good stuff. So here's to another day. Shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in your mailbag requests for topics, questions, and comments to any of these handles. Remember, we are all here if anyone wants to talk about recovery and our experiences, or if you are struggling with some form of addiction. That includes you running to be sober man 25. Thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night, God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. We will see you next week.